Page 42, Little White Chickens. On page 39, they give you a little thing you can play around with. If you want, you go right ahead and do that. I don't really cover it in the video. The idea is that each of those fishing poles has a letter at the end of it. And you got to find the fish that is on the liner space that is the same letter. So for instance, start over on the left side, you see a G. The fishing pole down below, there's a G. Well, you got to find the fish up above that's in a G. And because the fishing pole's down below, we'll take the G down below. So you look around and I see that the second fish in the lower staff is on the top space. That's a G. So you draw a line from the pole to the fish. And you just go around them all and connect all the fish to their appropriate pole according to the name or the letter. On page 40, there's pennies in a purse thing. If you want to pretend those are pennies, that's wonderful. What they want you to do is they want you to put the total number of beats for all the notes in the purse. I guess you can write it in the handle. The handles is there, and there's space in there. You can write them in there. You can write them anywhere you want. I don't care. We're going to pretend that a quarter note gets a count, because so far that's all we've had. A quarter note is not always going to get a count. But for now, we're just going to pretend that. So it's like in the first one, you get the whole note and the half note. Well, how many quarter notes are those worth? So you got to know that stuff. Well, a whole note is the same as 4 quarter notes, because there's 4 quarters in a dollar, so 4 of them. A half note is worth 2 quarter notes. So if you take the 4 and the half, the 2, add them together, that's 6 beats total. So you put a 6 for that purse. The second one, there's 3 quarter notes. Well, that's easy. That'd be 3 beats because there's 3 quarter notes. So you just go through them all. And the second 2 lines of those toward the bottom of the page, they give you rests. So you got to know how many beats your rests are getting. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask me. The trickiest ones in the bottom with the rests you might have to think about would be in the last one. There's 4 lines total on the page, so the third line down, the last one, it has a box, that one box. That box is sitting on the line. Remember, that's the same as a half note. It's a half rest. So it gets the same number of beats as a half note. And then the last line there, the first one, that box is hanging below the line, so that is a whole rest. It gets the same number of beats as a whole note. So you can work those out. Then on page 41, there's a bunch of ducks and stuff. It just gets better and better, don't it? They want you to put in the time signature for the line according to what's in this line. So let's just talk about that for a moment. You see the vertical bars. These are measure lines or bar lines. So the notes in between there are in measures or bars. So you have to figure out the count of each of these measures to tell you what the top number is. The bottom number is always going to be a 4. We haven't had any other number yet. You have to worry about it. So it's going to be a 4 or something. Look at the first line. In that first measure there, you have 3 quarter notes. Well, that's it. Well, that tells you it's 3. So the time signature on that first line would be a 3-4. Because there's 3 beats in that first measure. And you'll notice there's 3 beats in every measure in that line. It should be. And then, of course, as I said, the bottom number is always going to be a 4. And you go down through and you work out all of them. The number of beats in each measure for each line has to be the same for that line. So in the first line it's 3 beats, in the second line it's 2, and the third it's 4. I'm giving you the answers already. Don't you love it? But you can go through and put in the time signatures. And if you're concerned, you can ask me. Because that last line is 3. Oops, I'm not supposed to say that, but okay. Now, let's look at these chickens and see what's going on here. There's nothing new. We're just using what we had, but the music's getting a little more involved. The hands are playing together, and they're, it's a little more. So let's look it over. It's 2 lines long, treble and bass clef, 4/4 time signature. I see quarter notes, half notes, and whole notes. Okay. The hands are playing together quite a bit, so I'm going to take it one hand at a time to make sure I figure out or understand what each hand is doing. The right hand is 3rd finger on E, so I'm here. And it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I'll just do that. I'll work out the right hand. Then the left hand, well, thumb is on C, so I'm here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, wasn't this fun? Third measure. Oh boy. Put the hands together and let's see what happens. And again, when I put the hands together, I might hesitate all over the place. That's fine, I don't care. I just want to know which fingers are working together. So at the beginning, it's these fingers. And the left hand is a hold on, I'll hold it down. 1, 2. And then again. And then again, same fingers. And now we go here. So I'm back to this. And it's the same rhythm there, so you don't have to worry about it. So you go through and put the hands together, and then go back through it a few hundred times or whatever it takes and get rid of the hesitation so it's a steady beat throughout. And you want to be able to play this without looking at the keyboard. Keep your eyes so we can feel this. Now once you can do all that, then we'll think about the interpretation. Again, the natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Feel them. That's what we're after. And then we can think about maybe the phrasing or the musical sentences. Where are they? Well, if I play the melody quickly, maybe I can hear it. That is one thought to me. Now you may be thinking, now wait a minute, why couldn't the first two measures each be a thought? And the answer is they could. It could be a thought. But I'm also looking at the words in the music since they're there. Now if they weren't there, then yes, I could say all those are phrases. But you'll read the words, it's all one sentence going across. So therefore, I'm going to play it as one sentence going across. I'm going to connect it. And the second line then would be one thought also. So we've got two phrases here, one for each line. I'm just going to lift up at the end of the line. Just a little lift up. It's like taking a breath. Yeah. Now keep in mind, just because I lift up in one hand does not mean I lift up in the other. Because in the left hand, I have to lift up. I'm playing the same note. I have no choice. But in the right hand, I'm connecting this. Even though I have to lift up in the left hand. I have to lift up here, but I'm keeping that down. Again, lift up. I'm keeping that down. Otherwise, I'm connecting them. So just keep that in mind. You have to think what each hand needs. Don't just do one hand because you did the other. Don't go. Don't lift up here because you lifted up here is what I'm saying. You have to figure out what each hand needs and you go with that. And that's something you can work out too when you're working out one hand at a time. If you have to go back, even after you've done all this, sometimes when I put in the phrasing and stuff, I have to go back and work on it one hand at a time to try and get that feel for that hand. So just because you got the hands working together doesn't mean they're always going to work together. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I am going to lift up for the phrasing at the end of the first line, but otherwise I'm going to connect this right hand all the way through. Each line, that is. I'll give us 4 counts. Are you confused yet? Well, I'm trying. 1, 2, ready, go. 3, 4. 3, 4, 2. 2, 3, 4. 4,